Comparing the time between two shrutis to the time between two swaras. A equal. B less. C more. D none of the above. Who has no connection to music? A. Beethoven. B. Picasso. C. Bach. D. Mozart. Which embellishment from the list below is present in this passage? A. Turn. B. Mordent. C. Tremolo. D. Appoggiatura. Which major scale from the list below has both a F sharp and a C sharp? A. F major. B. D major. C. G major. D. C major. The rise of notated instrumental music in the Renaissance can be attributed to the A. Development of music printing. B. Increase in music literacy. C. Invention of new tuning systems. D. Negative association of orally transmitted music with lower social classes. All of the following instruments were invented during the Renaissance except the A. Crumhorn. B. Harpsichord. C. Recorder. D. Sackbut. Pavons, galliards, passamezzos, and saltarellos are all examples of A. Abstract instrumental pieces. B. Bass ostinatos. C. Dance types. D. Intabulations. Which type of composition is written to resemble an improvised piece? A. Allemande. B. Canzona. C. Intabulation. D. Toccata. Which instrumental genre features a succession of themes, each developed in imitation, much like a motet? A. Canzona. B. Division. C. Fantasia. D. Ricercare. Giovanni Gabrieli spent most of his career at A. The Cathedral in Florence. B. St. Mark's Basilica in Venice. C. St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. D. St. Peter's Cathedral in Bologna. You find a music manuscript that sets a poem's vivid words with unprepared dissonances. Who is a probable composer? A. Giovanni Maria Artusi. B. Giulio Caccini. C. Claudio Monteverdi. The primary purpose of the basso continuo part is to A. Illustrate the text. B. Control dissonances. C. Accompany. D. Foster cadenzas. Which of the following was not a common continuo instrument during the 1600s? A. Harpsichord. B. Lute. C. Organ. D. Piano. By the end of the 1600s, which country was the dominant political and artistic power in Europe? A. Spain. B. England. C. Germany. D. France. By the end of the Baroque period, counterpoint became A. More complex. B. Less harmonically driven. C. More harmonically driven. D. More reliant on augmentation. Early Baroque composers' emphasis on drama and theatricality led to more of which type of performer? A. Child. B. Professional. C. Amateur. D. Eccentric. Which group intently studied the writings of the ancient Greeks about music? A. Shakespeare's acting troupe. B. Henry Ivy's court. C. The Puritans. D. The Camerata. Which person is most closely associated with Le Nouveau Musicien? A. Count Giovanni de Bardi. B. Giulio Caccini. C. Girolamo May. D. Jacopo Peri. The first opera was A. Peri and Rinuccini's Daphne. B. Cavalieri's Rappresentation di Anima et di Corpo. C. Peri and Rinuccini's Lourdes. D. Caccini and Rinuccini's Lourdes. Claudio Monteverdi wrote throughout his lengthy career A. Operas. B. Madrigals. C. Masses and motets. D. Oratorios. Which of these instruments does not belong to the strings group? A. Harp. B. Flute. C. Guitar. D. Violin. A high-pitched sound is made when a thing or material vibrates. A. Quickly. B. Slowly. C. Calmly. D. Silently. Which of these instruments has 6 strings? A. Harp. B. Guitar. C. Violin. D. Cello. Percussion instruments make sounds when they are A. Blown. B. Hit. C. Plucked. D. Swiped. Stile antico is associated primarily with which musical technique? A. Unprepared dissonances. B. Chromaticism. C. Improvisation. D. Counterpoint. Large-scale concerti were often written for what occasions? A. Rulers' birthdays. B. Commemorative events. C. Public celebrations. D. Feast days in large churches. What type of work sets the story of Jesus' crucifixion? A. Cantata. B. Historia. C. Oratorio. D. passion. Which of the following was not typically included in a suite? A. Tarantella. B. Allemande. C. Jaeg. D. Sarabande. What was the leading vocal genre in Italy in the late 17th century? A. Oratorio. B. Opera. C. Serenata. D. Mass. The three-part texture of a trio sonata typically called for how many instruments? A. 1. B. 2. C. 3. D. 4. One purpose of the da capo aria was to A. Move the plot and narration along. B. Express a sentiment or emotion. C. Give singers a rigid structure. D. Show how well singers followed the music. Vivaldi wrote most of his concerti for what instrument? A. Bassoon. B. Cello. C. Violin. D. Oboe. Couperin tried to synthesize which of the following composers' styles? A. Lully and Corelli. B. Lully and Vivaldi. C. Rameau and Corelli. D. Rameau and Vivaldi. What term described overly complex or fussy music in the early 18th century? A. Avant-garde. B. Baroque. C. Medieval. D. Gothic. Handel invented which genre? A. Italian opera. B. Keyboard suite. C. German oratorio. D. English oratorio. The action in Handel's operas develops through A. Recitatives. B. Choruses. C. Arias. D. Sinfonias. The end of the 18th century saw a growing preference for opera in which language? A. Italian. B. German. C. French. D. The vernacular. Where did the gallant style originate? A. In French operas. B. In Italian operas. C. In French dance suites. D. In German operas. Harmony in the gallant style. A. Changes frequently and irregularly. B. Stresses the subdominant. C. Is found in rhythmically sustained values. D. Has a slower harmonic rhythm that punctuates melodic segments. Which of the following is not a typical characteristic of Italian comic opera in the mid-1700s? A. Periodic phrasing. B. Tuneful melodies. C. Sparse accompaniment, often with continuo. D. Complex harmonies. In an opera seria, action progresses through A. Arias and duets. B. Choruses that comment upon the drama. C. Orchestral interludes. D. Recitative, either simple or accompanied. Who invented the pianoforte? A. Koch. B. Galuppi. C. Cristofori. D. Wagenseil. Which of the following Baroque genres remained in common use throughout the Classic period? A. Fugue. B. Concerto. C. Dance suite. D. Toccata. What was the most prestigious instrumental genre in the late 18th century? A. Concerto. B. Sonata. C. String quartet. D. Symphony. Who was the first composer to consistently write symphonies with 4 movements? A. Sammartini. B. Gossec. C. Stamitz. D. Von Dittersdorf. Today Joseph Haydn is best remembered for his A. Operas and oratorios. B. Piano sonatas and concertos. C. Masses and symphonies. D. String quartets and symphonies. Why has Haydn been called the father of the symphony? A. He invented the genre. B. He taught Beethoven. C. He set standards and patterns that later composers emulated. D. His symphonies were more admired than Mozart's. The second movement of a Haydn symphony. A. Is in rondo or sonata rondo form. B. Is often in minor. C. Has a slow introduction. D. Is gentler and slower than the first. The third movements of Mozart's piano concertos. A. Reflect his experience as an opera composer. B. Frequently use rondo form. C. Frequently use minuet and trio form. D. Do not use wind instruments. Beethoven initially attracted favorable audience attention through his A. Symphonies. B. Conducting. C. Chamber music. D. Piano performances. Beethoven departs from symphonic tradition in his Ninth Symphony by A. Using more than the traditional 4 movements. B. Including a text from the ordinary of the Mass. C. Abandoning sonata form. D. Including a choral movement. The piano emerged as an important and widely used instrument in the early 19th century largely because A. It was the most affordable instrument. B. It could produce an extremely wide variety of sonorities and textures. Settings of lyric poetry in the early 19th century tend to A. Contain dialogues among characters. B. Depict dramatic struggles. C. Express personal reactions to ideas and images. D. Express rapid, frequent changes of emotional states. Chopin's piano music invokes the styles and techniques of all the following except A. Polish folk music. B. Bach's preludes and fugues. C. Bel canto opera. D. Afro-Caribbean folk dance. Who was principally responsible for the idea of the solo recital? A. Franz Liszt. B. Robert Schumann. C. Franz Schubert. D. Frédéric Chopin. The composer whose legacy most broadly influenced musical developments during the 19th century was A. J. S. Bach. B. Handel. C. C. P. E. Bach. D. Beethoven.